Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maritza. Welcome to Looped In with Maritza, sponsored by the National Parents Union. Today is Wednesday, September 2nd. It is now 62 days till November 3rd, which is a very important day. It will be Election Day. For those of you that have not done so, please register to vote. Please request a mail-in ballot if you do not feel comfortable going to your polling locations. And if you do plan on going to your polling locations, please make sure that you find out which is the one that will be actually open in your neighborhood to avoid any delays. Please speak to your neighbors, to your elderly neighbors, to your retired neighbors, to your family and friends that live near you, near your polling locations, about whether or not they need assistance in filling out the mail-in ballot, in requesting a mail-in ballot. Let's do this collectively. Let's get this vote out. Let's effect some change. If you have not done so already, please make sure you fill out your 2020 census. This is extremely important. This affects our representation in the Capitol. This affects your state representation. This affects the money being allotted for Pell Grants. This affects school lunches. This affects public transportation in your area, whether or not it is needed, if more is needed in your area. The monies that will be allocated for your specific city and state will also affect the infrastructure. This is something, I'm gonna give you an example. For every person in the city of Philadelphia that is counted in the 2020 census, this equates to $21,000 per person over the next 10 years. So if anyone comes knocking on your door from the Census Bureau, please give them the only 10 minutes it would take to fill out the information to make sure that everyone is counted. Now, also, please become a member of the National Parents Union, the National Parents Union website. If you go on there, there is a link that lets you see on how to become a member, whether it's an individual or an organization. Please do so. The more of us that are assisted and represented, the stronger we will be. We are already a fantastic organization across this entire country, including Puerto Rico, of strong families, strong people that are advocating for education, equity, and justice. With regards to our campaign for Every Family Votes, there is also a tab on the National Parents Union website. It explains via a toolkit on any information you may need regarding helping you with voting. Also our swag. There is a link to purchase t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, face masks, mugs. All the information is there on the National Parents Union website. Today's show is going to be very interesting. I will be having 4 guests. The first 2 guests, we're going to be having a very nice discussion regarding self-care for families, especially during this time that we are beginning school again. So please allow me to introduce Dr. Anjoli and Ms. Leslie Jimenez. Welcome, ladies, to Looped In with Maritza.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Take yourself off mute,
Hi.
Leslie. There you go. Hi, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much for agreeing to be on my show today. Welcome back, Leslie, and bienvenida, Dr. Anjoli. Leslie, for those that didn't see you on the previous show, can you please tell us about yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Leslie Jimenez. I received my master's in social work about a couple years ago here in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm also a licensed social worker. I have been working with an organization called Concilio, who is housed in the city of Philadelphia. Concilio offers an array of services, but we're mainly, or one of the bigger things we're known for is our foster care department, where we do adoptions. We also help with after-school programming, such as summer programming or literally after school, which now things are virtual. And so we have a lot of good things going on in our agency. I'm their training coordinator. So what that means is I organize, if not directly teach, the trainings that we facilitate on site or now virtually for our families and for the community.
Thank you. Dr. Anjoli, I know you. I'm getting to know you better, but please let our folks know who you are.
Yes, thank you. So I'm here in Arizona. I'm a psychologist, a hypnotherapist, and a professor at the community college level. I also host a show here through the National Parents Union, which is how Maritza and I are getting to know one another. I'm also a member of the Siwapali Collective. The Siwapali Collective, Siwapali means it's a Nahuatl word, and it means women's medicine. So we kind of address mothering, indigenous mothering, and indigenous families, kind of, we like to say, from womb to tomb. I'm also a mom, and I have a beautiful 20-year-old daughter, and I'm just happy to be here with you.
Okay. Now, ladies, let's talk about some of the anxiety some of our families are feeling now that the beginning of school is now upon us again. Leslie, you hold parent support groups. You also help train and retrain, give enrichment training to resource families. What have you been telling them to help them get ready for today? Was the first day of school in the city of Philadelphia. What kinds of conversations have you been having leading up to it, and what have families told you about their feelings about the first day of school?
So parents, I think, are just stressed, period. Just in normal life with COVID-19, there's just having to sort of revamp our routines. And routines is a big thing and we've even seen it on the news. I had a parent who, after that lesson, was like, oh my gosh, Miss Leslie, I was watching the news this morning and they were talking about routines and everything you said. And so routines has been a big conversation, because routines is a way for us as human beings to take control back of times where there feels like so many things that are out of control, right? COVID-19 is out of our control. And that's not even talking about for families that are dealing now with family crisis, financial crisis, right? There's all kinds of crises that can come up. But a routine is something that we can sort of use as an empowerment tool to sort of, again, gain back control of our life. And so routines is something that we've talked extensively in my classes, because I tell folks, these are unprecedented times, which we hear all the time, but that there's room for us to really mold our daily life experience, and this includes the academics. And so, for example, I've told folks, some school districts are doing what they do, the asynchronous and the synchronous. So just meaning some things will be live and some things will be for independently done, excuse me. And so I've told folks, don't feel like you have to stick to that 8 to 3, 4 o'clock, 9 to 4 sort of schedule. If for the stuff that doesn't need to be done face to face, if you want to wait and do it later, or if you can knock it out earlier, or if you find that you and your child need a break, take the break. There's no, the school gives you a sample scheduling to help folks as they're setting their routines. But if that doesn't work, that doesn't work. If you have to give a break and go do something. You adult take a time out, you child take a time out, and then we'll come back to that math problem that we all don't understand and we're trying to figure out together. So routines and having flexibility is something that I've talked about with folks, and to be gracious with ourselves, that we're going to make mistakes and that we're going to have to revise the routine plan 15 times, just even with the space. Yeah. So my daughter doesn't have a desk, but we have a little table that we use, and that's what we have. We don't have this, nice elaborate thing that she can use, and I've moved it 3 times already, because it was too close and she was on it and I'm on calls and that didn't work, and then she's too far from me and I want to be able to help her and assess. And I just got to be gracious with myself as a parent. And so I didn't mention earlier, I have a little 7-year-old who just entered 2nd grade. And I'm trying to be gracious with myself as a parent, in that the plan's just going to have to get modified as I'm figuring things out, because we're figuring things out together.
Yeah. So, Dr. Anjali, what kind of advice can we share with our families in letting them know that it's okay? Like today, I was physically in the school that I'm working out of, and the phones were ringing off the hook, all 4 lines. Parents coming in the door anyway, me making sure that everybody has a mask. I mean, I had on a mask and a face shield for every time I had to get up from my desk and get a little closer to the families. I'm telling folks, it's all right. I mean, they're upset. I mean, I had to use my many years of experience in customer service to be as nice as I can be and talk as calmly as I could in English and in Spanish to the families that were calling me, flipping out about the first day of school.
Yeah, so I really appreciate what Leslie said about routine and pace. And so, like, I would add, right now is when we're going to get the most information about the pace that we had as we enter this, like, the vestiges of the old world. And I don't feel like I'm being dramatic. Like, it is they are the vestiges of the old world that, like, they want us to go back into this certain schedule, but we were just living off of, like, a very different schedule and a very different format of being educated, and spending time within our community. So notice how how as you go back into, like, the vestiges of the old world, like, what doesn't fit anymore, and, like, speak to that, because now so this is my rabble rouser self, now there's no way that somebody can tell you we can't do something because we just did the impossible, right, for 5 or 6 months, and we're probably gonna have to go do the impossible again, like, sadly, in a month or how many ever weeks, when things shift and change. Not because we want that, that's just realistic, right? The circumstances are going to change, right? The need for flexibility and adaptability. So, but in the middle of, like, doing all this, like, I will always go to, like, just breathe, just relax, just meditate, like, but I mean, invite people in that moment, like, hey, like, speak on it, like, we're stressed. Let's take a breath right now. Let's, like, hold on. We can all feel our like, shoulders getting higher, right? And our body getting tighter. Like, let's just hang on for a second, because nothing is do or die, because we're not on firm footing right now. So if you're not on firm footing, short of the do or die aspect, nothing is do or die right now, So allowing for that perspective, and I think just not feeling afraid to say it, being cordial, like, being polite, everybody has a job to do, but I don't think it's only parents and kids that feel stressed. Administrators feel stressed, right? People that are making decisions feel stressed. So don't feel like, I think people have the most power that they've ever had right now, whether they realize it or not. So express your needs and get other people to kind of simultaneously express a similar need. And there's just this beautiful opportunity for lots of change that will also be anxiety reducing for us if we're able to advocate for ourselves.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And with one thing that I noticed, the closer it got to the beginning of the first day of school, I am getting to know my school's school leader, and I admire the fact that she's being very, very flexible with what's going on. Yes, the children have to get used to 100% virtual. They are on an actual schedule. When parents were calling in saying, some parents were calling in saying, hey, we didn't have a problem logging in. Everything was great for homeroom. But then somewhere down the line, as the morning went on, something happened with the system. Either they couldn't get in at all, or it knocked them out. So they started to freak out. And as they were calling in, I said, listen, I'm telling parents, don't worry. What's your name? How are you? It's okay. What's your child's name? I'm going to send the teacher an email letting them know. So do not worry about attendance today. Don't even worry about attendance tomorrow, because no one's going to get the full swing of this. Realistically, for me, I don't think it's going to happen till Tuesday. After Labor Day, they'll be like, okay, we got the first 3 days. I do have the right password. I do have the right Chromebook. I can now get in. The system is not going to crash again, hopefully. And it's okay to just take a minute and take a break, walk away.
And then it's all going to change.
Yeah. And then it's going to be like, oh, well, this is what we're going to do now because that didn't work. And it can happen. And it's all about the open communication, right, Leslie? If parents don't understand what's going on in whatever language they understand and know that it's okay, it's not going to be perfect. I did have a few parents that were like, why can't they go in the building? You're in the building. And, and I was like, hey, I'm in the building because not everybody has access to technology. Not everybody understands technology. So there are going to be some, we have grandparents, we have older aunts and uncles that do not understand technology no matter how many times you tell them over the phone. And I was like, hey, I'll be in the building tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Bring that Chromebook, and we're going to show you how to get on there. Just giving them that opportunity.
Yeah. Can I add something as well?
Sure.
Like, yeah. I want to tell people, because we're talking about all these changes, is like, I want to remind people to rest. And I'm definitely like saying it for myself as well, because when everything is so new, our brains are on like cognitive overload, right? For us, for the kids, like it's like learning like a new language every day, right? And so, I can be Pollyanna-ish, you know. For me, like I can see all the silver linings, right? So if we can acknowledge like that, hey, this is the pace that we operate well best on, meaning I need this much rest, I need this many hours of screen time, I need, as Leslie's saying, I need breaks. Like 2 o'clock doesn't work for me. I need a break from 2 to 3, and then I can go back to things and I can restart again at 7. Like I'm suggesting that not only for children, but for employees, you know, workers, adults, right? Like say what you ask for, what you need, you know, like based on like the pace and the rhythm that fits, you know, with your body and your family schedule. And it's not going to all be the same, but we can create a couple of different derivatives of the 8 a.m. schedule and the 10 a.m. schedule and the 2 p.m. schedule. And like those things can happen because like there's so many people experiencing the same things.
And to add on to that, I was saying, I think this is something like, it's pretty much what you were saying, Dr. Anjali, is just, I think life right now is broken in many ways. And this goes into our expectations, right? What you were saying, kind of how we used to do things, right? And so we want to sort of model how we used to because it's familiar, it's comfortable, but the thing is broke. Whatever the thing is for you, it's broke. And that freaks all of us out, which is why you're, you know, Maritza, and even I as a parent, I'm like, oh my God, how do I figure this out, right? But, and I'll tell you that this is something that has resonated with me on a personal level. So not even Corona stuff, just with personal issues and family issues that I'm currently dealing with. It's broke. But the fact that it's broke, like we really all have to change our mindset, and that means we have a like miraculous opportunity to rebuild, and to rebuild in a way that keeps us safe, that we still get to promote learning, academic success, family, cohesiveness, open communication. But it's like, but we almost have to remind ourselves like, oh my God, it's broken, I'm freaking out. And you know, you might not see it on the outside, right? Because, you know, you keep the customer service skills. That's what I always say, keep the customer service skills face on. But on the inside, you're panicking, but it's like, so what? And I'm telling you, because I have to tell myself this. There's literally moments where I have to tell myself, wait a minute, it's broken. It's not the way it was before, but I can put it back together. And I can put it back together in a way that I want. It's almost like a second chance, you know, like the chapter ended and now you're rewriting a whole book. And so like, I hope that folks that are listening can almost consider taking this as an opportunity to rewrite your story and whatever is coming. And, you know, if you're reaching out to the Maritzas and the school workers of the world, you know, it's logged. I'm trying to get in, it didn't work, you know, like, okay, we'll try the next day, or we'll try in an hour and 30 minutes. But there really is a beauty in this season, even though I know most of us don't feel it moment to moment, or maybe at all. But there is, we have a very unique opportunity.
I think, and the vulnerability, you know what I mean? Not being afraid about being vulnerable, because like old way, right? We think we have to be objective, right? And I'm just gonna make a very like heteronormative, like patriarchal kind of white supremacist way. Like we have to do it this particular way. We have to remove our emotions, and like, no, the people that are thriving right now are those who kind of have social connections, practical skills, and can access technology. If you think about those things, they're about like land-based things. They're about connectivity. They're about femininity. They're about communalness, right? That is to me, that's the opportunity, that we've had a structure that has existed off of like one really small paradigm. And then all the things that are helping us survive right now are actually the exact opposite. So that's why I say, like, be vulnerable. Say like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, you know, I see you, human being in front of me. I got you. I'm going to get to you in 2 seconds. Because just by us like stating what's going on with us, right, that gives permission to the other person to acknowledge their own emotions and feelings. And then we keep doing our job, right? Like, I mean, if you need to melt in a puddle, melt in a puddle into a puddle and then get up and do your job. But usually just being able to state your needs and your experiences is acknowledging enough of your circumstance, and then gives permission and space for the other person as well.
Absolutely. And parents, caregivers, just remember, we are very flexible. We're going to be bent every different way as school is opening up. Just remember, imagine you're dealing in your home with you and yours. The administrators, the teachers, the school leaders, the counselors, the social workers, they're dealing with all the little people in the building and all the parents and guardians of the little people in the building. Now it's virtually, it's going to be a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of Google Meets. Just exercise a little bit of grace. Take your breaks with the children or without. Take your own personal breaks. If you are the person that has to stay home, also understand that person that still has to go out to work. Be mindful and just remember that while they're out there, I don't know how many grandmothers and grandfathers came into my building today with the parent that's at work, hiding in the bathroom or outside of their workspace, calling and saying, go to school because X, Y, Z. Just exercise a little bit of patience for them. Remember that we're all trying to handle this. The mold has been broken. And for those of us that might be like me, that's so used to having the control of being able to plan this, plan that, plan the other, all that is out the window right now. It is absolutely out the window because as Dr. Anjali said, next week it might change. Next month, it might change. Someone might go ahead and say, you know what? If this pandemic, if this illness does not flatten, we may have this space for a much longer period of time. Or the opposite might happen. The curve may flatten and they'll say, hey, we really are going to start slowly but surely reincorporating the face-to-face after schools come the end of the first quarter. So it's either end of the spectrum, but for right now, we're in this state of the middle where we're all learning and school is just starting. So we have to also try to not allow the children to see our anxiety and anger, because then we don't want to project. Yeah. We have to be very careful of that too, because children can sense a tense situation.
But I would say though, but it's okay to voice that, right? So yes, we don't want our children and the people we come in contact to be the victim, right, of our anxiety and our anger. But it is a good model to just say like, oh, I'm feeling a little anxious right now. And so like, what do I do when I'm anxious? What should we do, right? Should we go take a walk, right? Should we engage in a breathing technique? Should we pull up a meditation, right? Or just whatever contemplative practice, kind of something that stills you. Should we work out, right? To kind of burn some energy. So I think modeling, right? Because that's what all of us do as like parents and practitioners. We model better skills and behavior. And so model that. And that's, and I'm suggesting something that's like actually hard for me to do too. Be vulnerable, do your best, to like say, this is what's bothering me, and then model the process of working yourself through it.
And it goes to what Dr. Anjali was saying earlier, in that it gives our kids permission to be upset and confused and anxious as well, just in a healthy way, right? Let's have our moment, but let's not drown in the moment or, do inappropriate things with our feelings. But not only that, it builds our what's the, I'm looking for intelligence. Yes, the emotional intelligence. There we go. Our emotional intelligence, right? Because a parent who understands what they're feeling in this moment and understands why they're specifically feeling it can parent better, can function as a human being better, because I am one with the self, right? And so then instead of reacting, I can sort of slow down, think, contemplate my options, and then reassess and come back with a cooler head. So absolutely. And sometimes we may have to apologize to our kids, right? If we do have reactive moments. I have to apologize to my daughter all the time because I'm a human and I just make these mistakes and have emotional moments like she does. Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I decided to put you two ladies together.
Me too.
You're doing great. I'm like, yay. So, Doctora Rodriguez manda sus saludos desde Baja California.
Oh, that's that's my elders. Yeah.
She was like, mándale saludos. And someone wanted to, know your full, Vicki Redmond wanted to know, wanted to know again the name of the college where you teach, Dr. Anjali?
Oh, I'm at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and actually, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do a shameless plug. If y'all want to watch me, I'm on at 6 p.m. Pacific on Fridays with the nightly restorative check-in here through the National Parents Union, and that show also airs on Mondays and Wednesdays with Marisol Quevedo. I'm also on in the morning shows in Spanish. So anyway, just dude, ask me for my friendship on Facebook. Give it to you. Like.
Yes, and Leslie, when is your next cycle of the parent support group going to be for those parents that live in Philly that may be interested in reaching out? How can they reach out to you at Concilio?
So they can call our main number, so 215-627-3100, and ask for Leslie. I'm the only Leslie in the agency. We're a small agency. Or you can email us or me directly at Leslie. It's Lesly, not spelled Liely, .Jimenez with a Jimenez, and that's at elconcilio.net. So either way, we can get in touch and help you out. I have a class actually starting next week, Tuesday after Labor Day, and we're looking into offering them on a continuous basis. So as folks are calling in, they can always get plugged to a class. And then at the end of the month of September, I'll be starting an all Spanish speaking class. So yeah, we're school starting for our kids, school's in session for our parents, and we need the support.
Absolutely, ladies. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll be talking soon. Much appreciated, much appreciated, much appreciated. If you want to stay on to watch, you're welcome to do so. Family, now I'm going to have, we're going to have some interesting conversation from two sides of the same state, the state of New Jersey. I'd like to bring on Ms. Tafshir Cosby from Newark, New Jersey, and Dr. William Hayes from Camden, New Jersey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you both?
Hi.
Hey, Dr. Hayes.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Hi. First day of school in Philly. I'm all excited. It was, it was interesting. Stuff I hadn't seen in a minute. Please introduce yourself, Ms. Tafshir, for those that do not know about the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you, Maritza. Right back at you. You are doing fantastic work in Philly. We appreciate you and we love you.
Thank you.
I'm Tafshir Cosby. I'm from the great city of Newark, New Jersey, not to be mixed up with Newark, California, or Newark, Delaware, Newark, New Jersey.
That's right.
I am the mom of Tahir, Naisha, and Nadir. I'm the grandmother of Morgan, Alexis, and Noah. They are my world. They are the reason why I get up every day and do the things that I do for families in my city and across the state of New Jersey. I'm a family advocate. I'm an organizer. I also work for KIPP New Jersey as an advocate and a school-based advocate and organizer. I'm also the CEO of Parent Impact, which is an organization that works with families to provide resources and opportunities so where parents can be partners and leaders in their community. So that's a few of my hats. And I'm also the New Jersey delegate for the National Parents Union.
Dr. Hayes.
Hello, I am William Hayes. I'm just the principal of Mastery High School of Camden.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm the founding principal of Mastery High School of Camden. So the school started 5 years ago. Had our first graduating class in the middle of this pandemic, class of 2020. Prior to that, I was a principal of a pre-K to 8th grade elementary school in Cleveland, Ohio. And prior to that, I was a teacher and assistant principal in Boston, Massachusetts.
So yes, you definitely will be speaking with Tim and Carrie very soon.
Yes,
They're going to reach out, Dr. Hayes. They're going to reach out. So, family, Dr. Hayes, Camden, New Jersey. A lot of things, a lot of evolution. Like when I first met you, I was Mastery Schools of Camden Community Advocacy Manager out there. I helped along with a team of folks help establish more of a footprint. Mastery charter schools, very well known in the city of Philadelphia. Although we're literally 15 minutes across the bridge, families didn't know about Mastery. So it was a very steep uphill climb to get families to trust, get to know, and desire to be a part of the Blue Mastery family. Can you tell briefly what that was like in the beginning and what it's evolved to now?
Oh, briefly. Oh, so
yes, I mean, yeah.
So I can give you kind of just an example. So we last week our leadership team looked at the video where the superintendent at the time was having a meeting about mastery schools coming in. And in that video, there's a parent who is going off to 100. How much she did not want the school to come there. She did not want to work with mastery, did not care for anything that we had to offer. I showed her that video when she brought her child to pick up the laptop for her sophomore year at this school. And so that parent has been with us for 5 years now. And so she's obviously changed her mind about the school, but it has definitely been a process of just kind of integrating into the school, integrating into the community at large, letting people and families know what Mastery is and who we are, and partnering with the traditional district schools in that process and traditional charter processes. I was a district principal, and so in that, I was also anti-charter and anti, all types of, the establishment coming into the communities. And so I got it, I understood it, and I also accepted it as my work to ensure that families understood I was here to work and serve for them. And so that has been my commitment over the past 5 years.
Wow, because I can honestly say, I remember how it was initially, the resistance, and I want to commend you as well as all the other school, existing school leaders over at the Mastery schools. You guys have been rising to the occasion and educating the children there in the city of Camden, and collaborating with the Camden City School District. And from what I see, what I saw and what I still continue to see, a tremendous way. And I think you guys are doing an awesome job. Ms. Cosby, in the city of Newark, things have been changing by leaps and bounds, and good things have come as a result. A lot more parent voices are being heard. Talk to us about that, as far as, what parent impact have been able to do to affect some change.
So, in Newark, we have a variety of schools for families to choose from, right? We have our traditional public schools, we have our charter schools, we have private schools, which are now few and far in between. A lot of our parochial schools have been closed. But in all those schools, I often say that we always have the opportunity for families to be engaged, to be involved, and also to be empowered. So for a long time, and I'm speaking from my own experience as a parent, and also from the experience of some of our members of Parent Impact, for a long time, we felt like our voices were not even necessarily at the table when it came to decisions that were being made for our children, but we didn't have decision-making ability in a lot of the things that were happening. The state had full control over our traditional public school district for almost 25 years. We just got it back this year in May of 2020, thankfully, right? We have control of our own school board. We have control of our own schools now. So that offers additional opportunity for more families to be voices for their community and actually participate in conversations that are happening surrounding things that are decisions that are being made for their children. So we have seen this year that there are more families that are being included, especially in decisions about the school reopenings. I work through Parent Impact. I also work with an organization called NEED, a Newark for Educational Equity and Diversity. So together we've had lots of coalitions in the city of Newark who have really been working to make sure that the traditional public schools, the charter schools, the private schools are holding community roundtables for discussion, so you can have that community voice, you can have that parent voice in the conversation, especially when we're talking about school reopenings. Specifically for the KIPP charter schools, tomorrow is actually our 8th week. We've been holding weekly community town halls. Parents get to ask questions. We have parents on the panel. They do presentations. The executive director is able to answer parents' questions. And I think this goes a long way to show partnership, that families now feel like they have more with their schools than what they previously had. Like previous to now, it was, the school called us when they want us to come to Trenton and testify, or they want us to come to like coffee with the principal. But I think recently, especially with school reopening, and it's always like Carrie says, right? Like now now you're asking parents what they want. You know, parents are now like the expert on their children, when previous to now, we were kind of pushed out of the conversation. So I'm happy that we're having this dialogue. I'm happy that more parents are being brought to the table to not only be part of the conversation, but also in the decision-making, because you're talking about our most precious like babies. These are our children. So we have to make sure that we're in the conversation talking about safety. We're in the conversation talking about schools reopening, everything that has to do with our children. The only thing that keeps me up at night still, and I was actually literally up all night last night, is thinking about parents who need to go back to work, essential workers, and the supports that they're being offered. The governor did put $250 million out for the state, where we're offering that additional support for families to be able to get funding for their children to go to daycare centers and community centers. But that right now for me is the biggest kind of contention in my life. I just want to make sure that families are okay when they go back to work, and that their children are in safe spaces when they're doing virtual.
Yeah. So Dr. Hayes, that brings some of the things that Tafshir was saying. I'm curious, and if you're allowed to speak upon it, please do so. What kind of supports are you allowed to give to families, the working families? I mean, you're dealing with high school children, but I'm sure you've been a part of the conversations with East Camden Middle, you know, with Molina and with Kramer Hill. What collectively has Mastery Schools of Camden decided upon to help support those working families when school starts?
Yep. So in short, the major offering has really just been flexibility to be able to accommodate a child and a family's schedule. So one of the things we've tried to align when we thought we would be hybrid, which was as recent as 2 weeks ago, was to align my high school schedule with the elementary schedules, so that kids who are in my high school would only come to school on the days that their siblings are coming to school. We are trying to align schedules where kids who are in my school are on Zoom, not when they're elementary peers, so they're able to support. And we're just trying to be a vessel just supporting that piece. We do also do a monthly food bank for families who are experiencing food scarcity. Through that time, there's a food truck through the city in which we're still doing lunches for kids to pick up, even in the virtual space, to try to make sure those basic needs are met. Beyond childcare, we've worked with Comcast to support in internet essentials to provide either free or reduced rate. Mastery is committed to clearing out the debt for parents who can't get it because they owe some particular bill. Admittedly, that's a shortfall that we haven't been able to respond to kind of this community issue and strain of childcare and what that means. We've really just tried to posture to be proactively supportive to families and just kind of be a voice of what do you need in this particular moment and how can we accommodate.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. With this era of an election year, and I'm curious to find out, Dr. Hayes, how much outreach or just announcements or endorsements of, make sure families get out and register to vote, have all the families done the census. How important is it? I don't know I really know the numbers in Philly, but I don't know the numbers in Newark, how much money is it per person? How much money is it per person in Camden? If all those families do make their votes counted, as well as each family member counted for the census, has Mastery pushed that a lot?
Yeah, we've pushed virtually information each time the census came up, kind of posted it on our social media, go out and fill out the census. And just kind of rocked the registration to vote. We are doing more internal efforts, particularly with our seniors who are going to be 18 and eligible to vote, to ensure that they are all registered, try to make it a big to-do. From a personal standpoint, got to get out there. Donald Trump has got to go. That is my personal, not on behalf of Mastery. I am speaking, whoever you agree with or support. I don't even need you to support the other person. I need you to be so anti this person that you decide to vote for the other person. However, you see it. Sorry, tangent.
That's how you really feel, Dr. Hayes. That's how you really feel.
That's right. That's why I admire him so much, because he will speak his mind. I remember when you mentioned old videos. I remember seeing some old videos of you dancing with your students. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The old videos of you dancing with your students. I remember some of the video footage from the New Jersey Parent Summit. When as you were speaking, everybody was just enthralled. It just, there you go. She has on her shirt today.
Yes.
You know, you guys, both of you, from up top to South Jersey, are doing so many tremendous things at your respective levels. I mean, I have nothing but admiration for you. If I would like both of you to, give some words of encouragement for our teens, for our children that may be watching with their parents, for our parents. What would you tell them as schools are about to, like Philly has started today. So whatever happened, it happened today. Tomorrow, hopefully it'll get better and it'll continue getting better. But for both of you in your respective cities, school is about to start next week. What kind of words of encouragement can you give for your students / families / guardians about how to get themselves ready, what kind of mindset they should be in for next week? Dr. Hayes, what can you tell your families or all our families that are viewing today?
So grace is important. Give yourself grace, give this system grace, give everyone grace. What I want to do, lift up while I'm in the seat and can say it, I think one of the things we haven't talked enough about is kind of how educators are dealing with this trauma, particularly in returning to work. And so I, as a principal, like I talk about those videos all the time. I haven't danced with a kid in a while, right? And so I haven't recorded a video. And for educators, that's actually why you got into the work, right? Kids and community are what sustain you when the work gets difficult. And so when you remove that, I think that has, major impact on kind of people's psyche and overall well-being. When I message to kids, I think that there is a new world, right? We are in a new space, and it requires a kind of fundamental flip in the way that schools function. And so in the previous world, schools functioned in such a way that the onus was on the adult to look out into the crowd, to see the kid, to figure out what was wrong, to check in if something didn't look right, to read body language. And all of that no longer exists. And so the challenge becomes, how do you support families and students when you can't readily see what they need? You don't have regular access points. If they're not logged into the Zoom, you absolutely don't know what is happening in the rest of the 6 hours. And so the message to kids and families is, let us know, right? You are not a burden to let us know what you need and what is going on. It is more of a burden when I feel like I'm blind, when I haven't heard from a kid, when I don't know what they need, when one of their friends tells me something. And so I actually think our schools will be better when parents and students are fully able to leverage the technological resources to advocate for themselves, to speak up for themselves, to express their needs. And so our early work in starting the school is really to make sure that our kids can navigate the system before they have to learn anything, right? I want you to know which email you need to contact, which link to click, because I want to hear from you. And I think that parents and students can often feel like they're being a burden, or they're aggravating or annoying. We need to know what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, so we can best respond to that.
Thank you. Cashier, what words of encouragement can you tell our families?
Everything Dr. Hayes said. So especially grace. I always tell my families, please have grace with yourself, have grace with the school staff, with your children. This is new for everybody, right? This is stressful for everybody. This is traumatic for everyone. But if you have grace with yourself, it makes it a little bit easier. For parents, please practice whatever self-care looks like for you. If it means going in the bathroom for 10 minutes to just get away and be quiet and be still for yourself. Also, what Dr. Hayes said, for parents to learn as much as they can about how to use the technology, how to use Google, what the classroom day looks like for your child, and have conversations with your children. Talk to them about their day. I used to be, my children are adults now, but I used to be of the mindset of, when your kids come home from school, how's your day? No, that question is not enough. Tell me something good that happened today. Tell me a new friend that you met today, right? Like, dig deeper in those conversations so you really can find out what's going on with your children. A lot of advice that I always give to parents before school year starts is to really build that connection and partnership with your child's teacher. Send them an email. My son had a 504 when he was in school. Send them an email. Let them know all of your contact information. Let them know a little bit about you, a little bit about your child. Let them know what they can expect from you, what they can expect from your child. Also, what you expect from them, right? This way, the expectations are there from the beginning. You build that relationship, you build that partnership. This way, the teachers aren't just calling you when your child is doing something wrong, right? They're calling you to tell you the good stuff. They're calling you just to have a conversation about what's happening with your child. You start to open that bridge and build that bridge to that relationship. This way, it continues throughout the entire school year. If your child has a 504 IEP, send it over to the teacher. I know the teachers already get a copy of it, but send it over so they know what the accommodations are. Just always keep that line of communication open with the teachers. It goes a long way to building partnership. And vote, do your census, participate in the Every Family Votes campaign, National Parents Union. This is like my passion, everybody. Please make sure that you are counted on the census. Please make sure that every person in the family who is able to vote can vote. Your vote is your voice. Find out how to vote in your county, find out how to vote in your city, and just make sure that you are being the best person that you can be, because like I said, we're all struggling. Nobody's perfect in this world. Nobody's is better than anybody else. Nobody's having like this fantastic life where they're building like these 23 businesses and they're reading 10 books a day. Like no one's doing that. So have grace with yourself, be patient with yourself, and most of all, be patient and caring to your children.
Oh my goodness. Dr. Hayes, is Mr. Nate still there with you?
Yes, my guy
Miss Medina,
is.
she's still there with you.
Miss Medina's actually back in Philly.
Okay, Miss Carmen, I know she's still there with you.
Absolutely.
Please
shout out to Carmen.
Yes, please send them my love. Anybody that still remembers me, tell them I said hello.
Anybody who's met you remembers you.
Oh, listen, thank you. I'll be over there soon because, you know, I still miss making you and bringing you a nice little something. I'm going to bring you something soon. When I visit you, let me know when you're in the building. Tafshir, you know I'm going to come up top soon. Leslie,
Yes,
I'm
give me some of those empanadas.
soon. Yes. Dr. Anjoli, I got to make it over to the West Coast soon. Thank you all so very much. This will be my time to give some parting thoughts to the wonderful audience. You guys have been awesome. I really appreciate you giving me of your time. I love you all very much. Stay safe. Good luck with the new school year. If anybody wants to reach any one of you, we got information from Ms. Leslie. We got information from Dr. Anjoli. Dr. Hayes, if anybody's interested in reaching out to you, how can they do it?
Yes, my Twitter is Speak Hayes. They can go there, or they can email me at william.hayes@masterycharter.org.
And I see Ms. Cosby's information right there for Parent Impact. Thank you all very much. Family, this has been a wonderful show for me. If any of you have any questions, you can send an email to info@npunion.org. If you have questions for me, I put my email there next to my name, Maritza@npunion.org. If you are interested in information regarding National Parents Union, we have our Facebook page. The website is for the National Parents Union is also up. If you want to become a member, please do so. Please join our push, our fight for voting. Please get in on our Every Family Votes campaign. We have a wonderful toolkit. Tafshir showed you a little piece of our wonderful swag. You guys are awesome. I had an amazing show. Please be blessed. Please stay safe. If you need me, I'm here. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Okay, you're out.